Hello, everybody. This is Indigenous Monstrosity, and I am Monstrositus X. And this is story time. How's everybody doing this week? I think everybody's back to, I don't know how the ill is doing out there. I haven't been getting around too tough. So, we'll see. I've been, let me see. I think we worked a little bit on the bounty hunters. We jotted down a few things. We got down that they were anti-terror team, an elite anti-terror team. Uh, and we hold on, let me get my headphones on. I'm not listening to myself. Okay. Hold on, I think I got something. I have an echo. I have a serious echo. Hold on. Okay. Let's see if that solved it. Let's see if that solved the problem. All right. Okay, we're back. Oh, righty. Oh, righty then. All right. The bounty hunters. Let me see if we got our peoples out there. Invite to the club. And let's see. Hello, baby. Uh, uh, uh. Around. Hit that one there. And hit that one there. And Weeze is back. And back to the base. Hello, everybody. Okay, now we determined, that the bounty hunters, no, wrong one. The bounty hunters, okay, elite terror team, on a mission to shut down the operations of collaborative eco-terrorist group. Collaborative meaning that they have cells all over the place and different governments, different like you can say terrorist cells, but basically made up a bunch of different types of organizations against this, against that, against corporate this, or against the destruction of the ecology, all of that stuff like that. Anybody is against nature destruction and saving the wildlife, all of this stuff. So you can say there's a bunch of different terrorist groups out there, eco-type terrorists that are coming together, working separate, but in a collaborative fashion to any intel shared, all of that type stuff. Bent on punishing countries, corporate interests, and for their lack of judgment and pollution, deforestation, animal extinction, all of that crap, and man's tyrannical dominion over the planet. So the team is on the outskirts of it. Well, I determined that I wanted to have like another. Did I put this in here? Hold on. The team is on the outskirts of an installation found to be a periodic use transaction site and assault. And, okay, having installation capture several members and intel. Okay, yeah, we put it in. Race is known to be borderline insubordinate. Um, that's Ferret. This is before I got to get some more names. I forgot to bring my book up. Damn. I forgot to bring my book up with all my names. Maybe I can look it up online. Look up some names online. One of the intel found the locations of the plan at the plant. Yeah. Hold on. Intel found at the location leads to a plant where the team. Yeah, that's why I wanted some kind of active mission that they go out on first, and then it leads up to this and show a little bit of his insubordination and team dynamics and all of that stuff like that. So that's why I added in this extra instead of going right to the plant where he tries to destroy the weapon, and he didn't want. They decided amongst them that they didn't want anybody to have access to this weapon. No government, not even their own. So they decided that they wanted to destroy it, and so Intel found out that the plan with believed that a weapon of mass destruction is believed to be built, and they set it to attack the location with the intent of locking down the area, taking prisoners, seizing the weapon. The plan was to secure the weapon for American officials. American containment officials. Save that. Boink. And race convinces the team. Me. It slipped me. The team that it would be better to destroy the weapon instead of allowing its possessions to fall into any government's oversight. Okay, that's another one. And without proper disposal techniques, the destruction led to the release of the mutagenic agent, exposing people in and about the surrounding countryside to a mutation meant to transform humans into brutish animal forms. Basically, yeah, but wild, kind of more animalistic intent to, create a bunch of animals. They could be somewhere trapped in between, but it wasn't intended to cause what it did cause. It wasn't intended to cause the mutation that it caused because it was still in the experimental stages. They didn't want to create beasts. They wanted to create helpless animals, just running around, even if they was trapped somewhat in mid transformation, not total transformed into animals, total animals. They didn't intend for them to be humanoid, So because they interrupted the process and then blew it up or did whatever they did, we're gonna have to come back to the specifics of that. Let me see, hundreds of villagers, as well as the team, and I should say most of the terrorists. As well as the team and most of the terrorists. Most of the terrorists. Most of the terrorists. Most of the terrorists. Okay, let's just bracket that just in case. Just in case we want all. Because it really doesn't make much of a difference, but um, do do Okay. Most of the terrorists, if not all, were rendered unconscious, awakened, awakened by the containment team, awakened by the containment units. Let's put that on save. And they realized that many of the terrorists had escaped. Many of the. They realized that. Again, let's not lock it in. Doesn't really make any difference. You can decide that. Many of the terrorists had escaped, including the cell's leader. And soon after they returned to base headquarters, the team fell ill. Over the next several days, their bodies would undergo violent reconstruction. Similar incidents were reported from the villages around the plant. Where the at the plant. Yeah, let's just put the plant site. Plant site. The team and containment teams and containment were dispatched to gather information on the levels of exposure. That's to the villagers and the surrounding countryside. Into the villagers. The exposure to the villagers is as well as animal plant and bug insect. Bug, animal, plant, and insect. Life. And life forms. And treatment. A treatment to suppress the mutagen is eventually found. A treatment or temporary solution. Temporary solution. Solution. Temporary solution. Temporary solution. A temporary solution. A temporary. Let me see. I think temporary solution. temporary solution, temporary solution, temporary solution, temporary. Okay. Ew, what's this? Oh, okay. Why did it do that? Why did it do that? Oh, ain't this a bitch? Okay. Wow. How do I do it the other way? This is interesting. Okay. I didn't know that did that. Oh, okay. All right. No. I just found out something. All right. All right. That's better. Okay, Panky. Okay, Panky. Okay, Panky. Okay. Oh, let's get that out of there. Where did that happen? Okay. No, that's the next one. Okay, temporary solution is wrong one. Okay. Mutagenic. 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 Genic. Suppressant. Suppressant or suppressant? Suppressant. Okay, mutagenic suppressant. Temporary fix. Temporary fix. Temporary fix. As a temporary fix. Okay. Oh, baby. A mutagenic suppressant. Treatment suppress a mutation is eventually found. That doesn't sound right. A mutagenic suppressant is temporary fix. As a temporary fix. Hold on. As a temporary fix, a mutagenic suppressant. Yes, suppressive treatment is used. Mutagenic suppressant is used. Use is used. Hold on. Is used. Is used. Used to. How about this? Is it spelled this way? Stymie? Stymie. The mutation. Everybody knows what stymie means, boys and girls. I bet you haven't heard that word in a while. just means to halt, suppress, kind of temporary type of thing. And is eventually to stymie the mutation is eventually found. Is it to stop the mutation? Is it to stop the mutation? It's not meant to stop the mutation. It's meant to stop the aggressive tendencies. The aggressive tendencies of the mutation. Of the mutation that followed yeah, that's followed. Okay, hold on. Okay. As a fix, as a temporary fix, a mutagenic suppressive, mutagenic suppressive and mutagenic. See, now I gotta look up. I'm gonna have to look up chemicals used to sort of like what's that shit they give to kids in school when they act out and they put them on that shit, which I don't understand. I would never let anybody put my kids on some shit. Never in a million years would I let some. But I don't have that problem right now. So let me keep my mind, my eyes on the prize. So it's a mutagenic suppressive, but I'm gonna have to look up some kind of um the chemical stuff that they, some kind of chemical thing that is used to suppress people's behavior, aggressive tendencies. I don't really know about all of that psychiatric type stuff, that especially the chemical side of it. So I'm gonna have to look that stuff up for next week to find out what kind of chemicals that can be used on adults or for aggressive behaviors to kind of suppress aggressive behavior. So I'm going to have to look that up because that can become useful to actually have some kind of a chemical agent to quote. So it makes the story more grounded in reality. So having technical jargon, even if it's made up, if you have technical jargon that people can't quite understand totally, but it sounds good. Like if you have some new condition and have a chemical that you can actually pronounce instead of just saying some chemical or a mutagenic chemical. If you actually have a name that you could use, that's even better because it grounds your story more in reality, because that's what people understand. If you have aggressive problems that you can use a chemical to some kind of a prescription or chemical agent of some sort to subdue these types of tendencies. And if I want them to have a team with them of regular humans to sort of, when if they see their aggression getting out of control, they can like pop them with a tranquilizer dart and hit them with a dose of this chemical or whatever that will subdue their aggression. And then, later on that will stop working. And, they would have to find more updated stuff in order to maybe find, maybe they need to find the people involved, that the actual scientists involved in creating the mutagen. They might have to find them and try to keep them sane enough so that they can find that could be one part of one of the missions, finding out who these people are, and maybe some of that's in the intel. We can put that in here. Let me see at the point. Okay, hold on. Immunogenic suppressor treatments. Okay, we'll put that in here right now. Mission. Boom. Find scientists responsible for responsible for creating the chemical bio agent. Bioagent, for creating the bioagent. I just like doing this. Creating the bioagent in order to save the heroes our heroes. Okay. Mission to find a scientist responsible. Responsible for creating the bioagent in order to save heroes. Heroes from failing failing antidote failing antidote. Drilling. Okay. All right. Let's lock that in. Save. All right. All righty then. All right. At some point, U.S. will reveal that rival foreign government agencies have managed to capture some of these mutations, more missions, uh, from the express purpose of stabilizing the transformation in order to retain human thought processes while also retaining the strength and durability of the change. Okay, I like that. Damn, who the hell is that? How do you gotta chill out in front of me? I live in a quiet neighborhood. So this is not something you hear a lot. I hope I did. I should have muted that, right? I didn't think about that. I gotta think about that more in the future. I should have muted that. So luckily I shut it out. So if they do manage to claim me for that little section, I could just cut it right out. That won't be a problem. Even though I've been getting claimed a lot lately. They claimed me for a video, and then it was last week's stream. Last week's stream, Monday night, I think I was talking about I had a video about True Romance, talking about the you know how he was called Dennis Hopper was trying to make them kill him quick instead of torturing them. So he called these Italian dudes eggplants and niggers. So they from the second he started on his speech about being this whole story about how the Moors conquered Sicily and all of that. From that moment, they claimed it. That whole speech, the picture and the words, they claimed it all. So there was two videos, two streams at the same time. There was two that popped up, and they claimed them both. They released one and kept the other one. They said they refused my dispute. Now, how could you refuse one when there was two of the same exact videos? How could you release one and refuse the one to release the other when they the same exact thing? It's stupid, but that's what they did. So I sent them a response. I didn't give them my name and do the whole dispute again. I just sent them a little email or whatever. I sent them what do they call that at the bottom of the page? A response, not a response, something back. uh, uh, Whatever. I sent them a little response to tell them, hey, isn't this stupid? Why y'all keep claiming this crap when y'all know it's fair use? You know that once you put it up and you're explaining and using it as commentary and entertainment and all of that, that is fair use. Why do y'all keep claiming it? And I'm breaking it down. I'm not letting it play extensively. I'm cutting it and cutting and cutting, and they're claiming it. So that's just YouTube being assholes. I hear people saying that they want to turn this into a streaming platform. Why not just create another one? Why fuck this one up for people if that's what you're trying to do? Just create another one. Then you got two platforms making you money. It's stupid. Let people make their content. I can understand if it was like that other chick, that Lucy Liu chick or Susie whatever, and she was showing the whole thing, the whole entire anime, just faded it out and do a little reaction and putting it behind paywalls and actually getting paid for somebody else's work. I'm not doing any of that, and these people are claiming me. But anyway, let's get back to the lab without a mic to grab. So okay. What was I putting here? The humans and process. Okay. It's so that they can create. What was I gonna put here? Intent. The intent. Let's put the intent in and to build armies of these brute forces. What the hell? Oh, a new page. Ooh, a new page. A new page. Ooh, ooh, ooh. Okay. What the flop is that? New forces. Okay. We also find people hiding their loved ones from authorities until these brutes become too hostile for them to handle. Chains, ropes, shackles are used to contain their loved ones. Alrighty then. Alrighty then. I love that movie. That's a good movie. Very good movie. I like them both. I don't know why he quit making Ace Ventura. He's too old for that shit now. But his face won't look right doing those jokes. There's all that wrinkling happening. But I don't know why he tried to go serious. He should have stayed Mr. Funny. But that's what those comedians all want to get the Oscars instead of just staying funny. Okay. Right. An escalation of terrorist activities keep the team busy. Anybody in the chat has any suggestions? This is what y'all are here for. To become demigods. Yeah, to become demigods. Leave some chats. Leave some information in the chat. Any kind of ideas. This is how you become demigods, people. This is how you do it. Na 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 na. This is how we do it. Na 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 no no no. Sha na na ha na na. This is how we do it. It's Friday night and I feel alright. The party's here on the west side. So I reach for my 40 and I turn it up. Designated driver, take the key to my truck. It's just something because I'm faded. I haven't listened to that one in a long time, so I don't remember the words. Not all of them. You're so good in my hood tonight. Tonight, all the gangbangers forgot about the drive-by. Gotta get your groove on before we gonna get paid. Throw your hands up. This is what the party says. Kind of buzzing for because this is how we do it. South Central does it like nobody does. Okay, that's enough for the serenade. All my neighbors, you got a much flavor. Let's set the track for the old school back. The escalation of terrorist activities keeps the team busy. Mm. Mm. Collecting intel on the collecting intel on the I'll never get back on an old school track on the collecting intel on collecting intel on collecting intel mm, on 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 the groups. Nope. Groups. What the heck is this? What the heck is this? Who the heck is paging me? Who the hell is this? Paging me at 5:46 in the morning. Crack the dawning. Now I'm yawning. Wipe the coal out my eye to see who's this paging me and why. This my okay. This my nigga Pop from the barber shop. Told me he was at the gambling spot. I heard the intricate plot. Yay. Let's see. Okay, collecting intel on the terror groups, especially especially pertaining to any with group members. Okay. Okay, escalated. Okay. Group members. Let me see. An escalation of terror activities. Keep the team busy. Collecting intel. Terror groups, especially pertaining to passionate members. Eco terrorist attacks. extracurricular activities. Activities. Rescue missions. Rescue missions to free, no, save the affected to save to save to save to save. I'm not liking the word. Not liking the word. Acquire. To acquire the affected. To acquire the affected. The affected. Let me see. Rescue missions to acquire. To save. Acquire. Any. Captive. Or Tercel members. Okay. Recommendations to acquire or save any captive villagers or Terracell members. As the affected. Missions. Nope. Implemented. For anybody who used to watch Mr. Magoo back in the days. I haven't watched Mr. Magoo in ages. I think the last thing I watched was Christmas. I bought Mr. Magoo's Christmas Carol. with razzleberry dressing. And we will have a Christmas cake, and on this baking on it, the waffle jelly cakes are rather nice. And we'll have a Christmas tree, and the waffle jelly cakes are very nice. I haven't seen it I think it's, like I said, Christmas time. I watched it. Well, it's Christmas, I guess. You guys got to get up on some of that old stuff. I don't know. We'll have a Christmas tree. The waffle jelly cakes. There was another part in there that Tiny Tim got to sing. That was cool. It was the waffle jelly cakes and something else. It reminds me of my childhood, that's all. All the fun times watching Christmas Carol, Ebenezer Scrooge, the one from back in the day. I think it was the 70s when it came out. We saw it, and the one with what's the cat's name? Albert Finney. I think that's the name, Albert Finney. And there was a musical. It had a lot of musical Father Christmas, and all of that type of stuff. That's a good movie, man. I like that one. I think that was my favorite, next to A Miracle on 34th Street. So not is it the original? No. I don't think so. The one with what's her name as a little girl, Natalie Wood. That's the one. And Maureen O'Hara, and I forget the old man's name. Yeah, the old man. He played in them. He played the old man. Was that him? Was that him in them? Now I have to watch them. I just got 40 Million Miles to Earth. I can't wait to watch that. I got to do a review. Matter of fact, I got it on DVD, so I'm going to do a breakdown review where y'all got to see all the clips and shit. Matter of fact, I just got finished disputing because I forgot that was my very first claim when they claimed Spriggan. It's an anime. So I did this breakdown and I showed practically all the action. I think I showed every action scene in that movie. So, but because I kept breaking it down, I did my voiceover. I talked over and explained it and broke it down. So that's what I'm going to do for 20 Million Miles to Earth. This is about this. It's a Ray Harryhausen horror monster movie from back in the 50s. And Ray Harryhausen is the shit. And if I can get a Blu-ray exterior player for my computer, I'll play all of my movies like that. Every last one of my movies, including my Blu-rays, because right now my computer can't play Blu-rays. So it's an 8.1. I bought it back like in 2012, 2013, something like that. And I didn't get the 10. I never got the upgrade to 10 with Windows and all of that. So I didn't want all of that. I just wanted for drawing, man. I didn't intend to be on here doing all of this YouTube stuff until I saw what was going down with EVS and your boy. Speaking of which, oh man, I'm not going to stay on this long because it's story time, but because it's Comicsgate and I am Comicsgate, Goddamned Comics is Comicsgate. So we gotta represent for ours. We holding shit down. And I said that to EVS, man. I got your back. So, and I ain't one of these bitch ass pussy motherfuckers who gonna have people come crying in my ear and make me want to quit. Nah. So I was watching Liam. Why is all these religious guys, the guys who always want to make rules, and then when people don't want to follow their rules, they get mad and want to quit? And then they become anti-comics gay. I don't get it. Why is he doing that? Just mind your business. That's all you got to do. Nobody's telling you not to promote people, but just mind your business, man. It's not your job. Yo, Comicsgate is the most free thing on this planet. Nobody's lording over it. EVS has got his platform, of course. If anybody want to try and sell their comics and you don't want to, if you can't build your platform and you can see a way to get onto EVS's, and he chooses to promote you because he see you have a quality product, well, hey, I say do what you can do, man, and do what you can. If he can get your shit sold, then hey, but you got to build up your own platform, and Liam has his built. So you got yours. You selling your product. Why are you crying? Why are you crying about something like who's got who on their channel, who they're promoting and not promoting? This is none of your business. This is none of your business. Mind your affairs. Worry about your channel. That's it. Stop worrying. If you want to bring people on your channel, bring them on your channel. Promote them. But don't stop pointing fingers at other comics gators and start making rules for Comicsgate. What's wrong with y'all? You are the one who's fucking shit up, not Zach. Zach can hire whoever the fuck he wants. That's what Comicsgate is. You could do whatever the fuck you want. It's the people who it's the customers who say you not Comicsgate, not you. Who says the fuck you got the right to point at people and say who's doing shit right and he's delivering his product to people, they happy. Who the fuck are you to come along, Johnny come lately, talking about, and he says he's been around since before Comicsgate, so who you should know. Stop trying to dictate shit. Why all of you guys with your religious views? And I wouldn't have known it if I didn't watch his video the other day, or that 12-minute stream that he did where he talked about how he was so Christian this and Christian that and all of his Christian brothers. And this is why he got into Comicsgate, because he's seen these Christians, and then you seen what Doug TenNapel did, but now he's doing the same shit that Doug TenNapel did. And all of them, they want to start labeling and putting laws and laying down laws and saying, and then turns right around. Now, religious people are supposed to be the ones who want to forgive people, right? He was saying how he just wanted to help people and get them to squash their beasts. And so he's talking about forgiveness, right? But then turns right around and talk about Zach has no right to forgive this guy and start working with him and all of this shit. Come on, man. That's why I don't follow religion. And I was raised 10 years in Catholic school, but I don't follow religion because of the hypocrisy, man. I can't follow. I believe in a God, but I got to leave all the rest of it alone. I believe in God, but I got to leave the rest of it alone. So anyway, man, Liam, leave the shit alone, bro. If you want to go away and stop making your doing your streams and all of that, that's up to you. But I think you're being a fucking idiot. You're definitely being an idiot. And if you want to keep making rules, then bye. That's why I'm singing bye-bye. 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 I don't really want to leave you, baby. I am so confused, baby. Good, good, goodbye, baby. Liam, don't leave me, Liam. Until you stream just one more time, make it seem forever. This is our last and final try. Goodbye. Oh, I don't get these people, man. I really don't. They get so hurt, so wounded knee. Oh, I'm so wounded. Why won't you listen to me? We just want to help comics. Well, that's what you're doing by putting yours out. We're keeping comics books alive. This is what you're doing. You don't have to worry about the comics industry. They weren't worrying about us. Why are you worried about them? You are doing our job by putting out books for people to read. This is how we keep the comic book industry alive, by becoming one. We will be the next industry. We are the next industry. Fuck will be. We are the industry. Fuck Marvel and DC. If they want to close shop, fuck them. They don't want to put out quality books, fuck them. If all of those motherfuckers who don't know how to fucking become YouTubers and shit, I don't want to do it either. I hate this shit. I don't really want to do YouTube, but if this is what's going to get my comic book sold, then hey, I'm going to do YouTube. I just happen to have a little bit more personality than some other nerds because I was a class clown back in the day. I came up telling jokes. That was how, the between that and the dozens and all of that stuff, my personality came out. So I'm not as withdrawn as I might have been if I was just staying home and drawing all of the time. Then I'd be more real quiet. And I don't really want to talk like this, and I'll do it, but that's not me. I'm extremely loud. I'm boisterous. I'm opinionated. That's me, man. And I got mad stories to tell because I've had years of sitting around this motherfucking house doing nothing but taking care of my moms. So watching TV. I was always a movie buff. I used to go to the movies. Back then, we used to see 2 movies. And I used to stay and watch them both. 2 of them back to back. I used to watch them twice. Just so that I had them drilled into my brain. So when I came back around the way and the homies would say, yo, man, what was the movies about? I'd drop the science. I'd break it down. I'd tell them I'd have all that excitement in my voice, telling them all of the stuff, even all of the punchlines and the one-liners. And I would tell a good story. And they'd be like, wow, man, I got to go see that. I wouldn't forget anything. I wouldn't leave out anything. I would tell them all of the good shit. And if it was too good, then I'd say, I'm not going to tell y'all that part. Y'all going to have to go see the movie. But otherwise, man, I was a good storyteller. So I always felt that I can tell a good story. So, yeah, I'm just trying to, this is, I know it's been a while. It's been a lot of weeks. But for us to get to this point, but I thought this was going to be more of us here. And it wouldn't be my story that I was telling. It would be your story. This is what story time is supposed to be about. Y'all guys are supposed to be giving me all of the information, and then I'm supposed to just form it into a story. I'm supposed to be asking y'all for, okay, what kind of story you want to tell? You want to tell us futuristic or Star Wars type story, horror type story, all of these different types. How you want to tell it? what type of idea do y'all have for characters? What type of ideas do y'all got for this? And then y'all supposed to feed me all that information. I write it all down. And then the stuff that works, the stuff that we think works, we keep it in the story. The thing that we don't think works, we throw it to the side. Or we keep it to the side for later. Maybe we can use some of it later. So yeah, and then from all of the stuff, but it would all be from y'all. You would basically be giving me the information. I would be just kind of like be the orchestra, the maestro, and y'all are the orchestra, and I'm just, waving my hands around while y'all play the music. This is what it's supposed to be. That way, when we finish the story, we get a artist. We have him draw it up, throw this shit on Indiegogo. Y'all get the money because it's your story, not mine. But this is my story. It's my characters, my creation, everything. I'm creating all of the lore and the world building and everything. So, and then I'm also doing this with my two more other stories. I gotta write up. I gotta draw God Tomb and Might of Thug City. I'm gonna shorten it just to Might. I'm gonna do a whole presentation, shorten it just to Might, and because I was talking to Dan Frager. I was on his show earlier in the week, and I showed him Mike and all of the characters from. Hold on, let me share this with you guys. Let me share this with you guys. So let's find out. One, a two, a three. Let's. It's nice to share. Okay, I'm gonna show you guys again. I think I showed you guys. Let me share it. Let me share. Okay. Here we go. Okay. This is Mike. This is the original. I showed this exactly. Just like I showed y'all before. I showed it to Dan Frager. And he had a whole bunch of people there. He had the Diaz, he had Zay Comics there. He had Shay there. Is she Red Valkyrie or Valkyrie something? But she had Shay there, and who else? My boy, Death Metal Hero, and somebody else. I forget the last guy. But anyway, I showed them these characters, and they was like, "Wow!" They loved them. I even was talking about naming her Nightshade, and the only reason why I don't want to call her Nightshade is because I don't like this. I might give her this outfit, a Nightshade with a K, like armor, Nightshade, not just Night shade, but Knight shade. So I was envisioning her with armor and like an armor cloth mix, and this looks more like a magical or somebody with more powers than what I intended her to be. Something like a Hawk Girl type of a character with weapons and smashing and crashing stuff, badass, you know. And so I'm not sure if I'm gonna have her looking like this. So if I call her Nightshade, she can't look like this. So I'm either gonna have to come up with another name, or which I have plenty of. It's not gonna be a problem. It's just I'm gonna have to come up with a ability that complements his. That doesn't. It's not repetitive. You know, that's why I like the Nightshade thing, because she would be having those weapons and kicking ass, and she won't be like the other women on there, because I got this girl. She's gonna be called Kit or Cat, but she's gonna be. I think I already said I'm gonna be calling her Battle Cat, but there's a reason why I'm separating the two from Cat and Battle Cat. So I can't tell. I can't tell everything. Y'all gonna have to just wait and see the story. Wait and see, because I have a lot of story. That's why I can tell y'all stuff. People say, like Liam was saying that too. How much do I tell without spoiling it? Well, I know I'm not spoiling this story. I told y'all his origin story. I told y'all a lot about what happened back then. I told y'all the beginnings of this story, how the story is going to begin. I told you about somewhat about his rival. I told you about the Turnbull and the Minotaur, Curse of the Minotaur, and all of these stories, man. I'm telling you, this is not all going to be in the first book. It's not. Curse of the Minotaur is coming down the line. So, but it's going to be mentioned. It might be mentioned in the book, in the first book. So it's all going to be like setup. Like I want it to be like a Game of Thrones. How they might have introduced something, but then they mostly talked about stuff. They talked it up, and then like 2 or 3 seasons later, boom, they hit you with it. So you're excited and waiting for it. So that's what I want to do. I'm going to be talking stuff. You're going to see cameos of other characters that I have. They're going to come into the story early in those first 3, 4, 5 pages. The first opening pages is going to be a major knockdown, drag out fight. Probably going to take up about 10, 15 pages. I don't know. So it's going to be a big knockdown, drag out fight, man. And a whole lot of things are going to happen at once. And that's going to start the next. And well, then I showed him this. I showed him that this is just a quick sketch at the bottom of the page, and how I decided that he was going to be. I didn't tell him about the pouches. I didn't tell him because Dan Frager is a pouch man, so I didn't tell him about the pouches because he's kind of like a Batman and a Superman mix. So, and the story is going to be kind of like a Batman, Superman kind of a Batman, Superman kind of Justice League, Avengers type thing. But it's not really. It's going to be kind of, but not really. So it's going to be really interesting. I'm going to be telling this amazing story. It's going to be intricate. A lot of things happening, but I'm going to try not to bunch a whole lot of things. I'm going to try and keep like 3 things happening at a time and juggling it. One like my first book, graphic novel, I hope to have 3 books in it. 3 floppies in it. And the first one is going to be a 68-page giant size book. Now, I can't have an annual because I might only be able to put one out every year. But I'm hoping to get some of the cameo guys. I want to have stories for them written up and drawn. I mean, written up, and hopefully I can get an artist to help me out with those. Maybe 2 artists, because I want to have at least 3 cameos. So if I can get a couple of artists, 2 or 3 artists to come in, I'll have me like a big. You have like 3/4 stories, and on top of the books that you got, and then God Tomb. That's gonna be a freebie to come with my campaign. So I already know how I want to set my campaign. It's gonna be major. It's gonna be have like. It's gonna have some companion books introducing other characters. I'm going to have maybe another like 10-page book just showcasing other characters, good guys and bad guys. Maybe I'll have one book for 10 pages of good guys, 10 pages of bad guys, of characters not related. Like Blackmail and a couple of others, because I don't know when or if Blackmail will come into my universe. He might just come out as a separate story altogether, or I might just introduce him through the Mike story. I don't know, but this is what I was telling Dan, that I wanted to use Mike. This Mike story is going to be the story that I'm carrying throughout. This is the story that I'm going to stick with. I'm going to be driving this story, but because it's going to have all my favorite characters in it. This next dude. So yeah, this one I was saying this is the one where I was working on his insignia, and he was like, "Wow, I want that T-shirt. I want that T-shirt. I want it now." I want that T-shirt. I was like, wow, man, I didn't even think it. I didn't even consider a T-shirt. I didn't even consider a T-shirt. Hold on a second. He's got my campaign running at 100 miles an hour, and I haven't even started the engine yet. But yo, he was giving me all these great ideas, man. This is what I need. So I'm telling them that I never drew any comic books before, but I've been drawing since Gigantor was on TV. I've been drawing. So, yeah, so you guys just be patient with me, man. There's nothing I can't draw, so I've never done panel work before. Not to the degree where it was professional, but I started practicing. I got like 2 separate stories that I had started doing panel work for. Well, thumbnails. Pull them out. Just rip them out at the root. All right. Yeah, so I had my Stone God story. I had this small 5 subject mini notebook. You know how when you get to be a senior and you in high school, you instead of those big ass notebooks, you get the little half size ones. So yeah, I had one of those, and I never really used it. So I started using it I said, fuck it. All of these empty pages, I might as well start doing some drawings in here. I could do my thumbnails in here. So that's what I'm using to do my thumbnails. Even though I didn't know those were called thumbnails back then, but yeah, I could do my thumbnails for my Stone God story. So I had done the whole first book. I think I had something like 20 something pages that I had all mapped out. Now my first 20 something pages, and with the good guys, the Stone God he's rejuvenating his abilities, and then you've seen the castle from the top view looking down. I had all of that going in there. I showed the Stone God doing his thing, and I showed this reptile minion of his setting up things. He was putting things into place so that he can do what he had planned, because this was a regular occurrence, like once a year or once every, ever so frequently, he rejuvenates his abilities, the Stone God, and his minion helps him. He's this little skinny reptile humanoid type creature, and he wants power for himself. So he makes plan to sneak in while the stone god is trying to recuperate his powers, and he makes plans to try and get in there and steal his opportunity to gain power for himself. And it happens, and the stone god basically, he wasn't, well, I'm not going to tell all the little details, but what happens is that the reptile kid gets imbued with all of the stone god powers and even his consciousness. And but the stone god, I should say the original stone god. The original stone god is imbued. I mean, he's is like he takes over the body of this reptilian creature, and and he goes to war with the weakened stone god. So they're both weak and they're both fighting each other, trying to destroy one another, destroying the vault room and all of this. And and what happens, I'm not going to tell any more after this, because what happens is that the original stone god, he manages to fight his way out and damage the new stone god, who is in there to rejuvenate his powers. And he damaged him, and then the door to the vault starts closing down. So they're both trying to crawl towards the door, because they're both extremely hurt from warring with each other. And so the new stone god, who is trapped, he's further into the vault. The original stone god, who just got his new body, he's crawling his way out, and the door closes on his feet, basically his lower legs, and crushes him, and he has to tear his way free, while the other stone god is trapped inside. And he doesn't have any more strength to get the door off of his feet, so he basically has to tear himself free. But with the little bit of power he does have, he kind of used the sand collected in the corners to reconstitute some new type of feet. And that's basically how how the old stone god, the original stone god, basically comes back into being. And from that point on, he tries to regain his old form, but it's not easy. So there's a whole lot that goes behind that, but then there's other things, because I created a whole world behind the stone god, and that it's an amazing story, because I was like around 18, 19 at that time, so that's back in the 80s. And the early 80s, I was a young kid, and I'm telling you, I got so much story, so many different creatures, so many different tribes and races of people and beings and gods and demigods and all kinds of things, man. Just all kinds. So yeah, that story. And then I got my frats. But anyway, I was telling them about this stuff, and he was just loving it. They started breaking down everything that I need to do and let me know. And that's what I needed to hear, because I don't know what's going on. I don't know nothing about creating. I know about drawing. I know about writing, but I've never actually put the comic books all together. But I know I could draw my ass off. There's nothing I can't draw. No body position I can't draw. So I know how to draw action and fights, and I know I think I know I could put together a decent, cohesive story that makes sense. But the knowing how long it's going to take me to draw all of this stuff, I have no clue. So he was explaining, listen, take a week or a month, and just draw panels, draw panels, draw panels, draw pages of comic, and see how long it takes you to come up with like 5, 10 pages. And then you'll be able to judge how long it'll take you to come up with your book. And that made sense to me. And I was like, okay, that's what I'm gonna do. So that's what I've been doing. I've been drawing. I haven't been drawing pages. I've been drawing though. I drew yesterday. I was drawing Mike, and I drew a character that I created off of EVS, that Ivor Garant. That's ever old. So Ivor Garant. On last week's Jack show, EVS was on there, and they had Narwhal on there, and he was talking about this older woman that he was trying to get with in order to get at this younger chick. So EVS pulled up Garantophilia. So when I hear words that I've never heard before, that instantly clicks in my head, and I have to look it up. So I looked up the Garantophilia, and then I looked up Garant, because I know philia is a prefix, suffix. So I looked up the base word of Garant, and it just said having to do with old age. So he's basically ever old. I said ever old, and then I came up with the thought of his abilities and what they would be, and that's what I did. I created this dude called Ivor Garant, which basically is ever old. And so he's been old for a long time, and he has the ability to change from this real rickety old man, because you ever see old men who walk, they have these big they're really hunched over, and they walk with 2 canes. Well, that's how he is. He's really hunched over, and he's a little fragile, skinny dude, walks with 2 canes. But these 2 canes also help to embody his power. They're like his staffs for a wizard, and he has 2 of them. And when he clicks them together, he turns into this powerful wizard, and he straightens up, and he like activates his ability, and he straightens up. He gets a little bit bigger, less frail, and he becomes this powerful wizard. And then he has this insignia in his forehead. And I drew the old man version and the updated version, and then at the bottom I was drawing this really muscle-bound, Hulk-esque, not quite hulking, but he's kind of big. He's bigger than any of the other 2 versions. And in this version of him, he's more of a tank version, but imbued with magic, So he's kind of like a juggernaut type, but not really necessarily. But he still can fire power blasts and stuff like that. But he's not really as massive as a Hulk, but he's, as compared to his former self, he's real bulky. So those 3, and there's more to it. But I'm not going to tell you everything. I'll give that to EVS if he wants it. But even though I doubt he'll want it, because it has nothing to do with Cyberfrog, and he wants something to do with Cyberfrog. This totally has nothing to do with Cyberfrog. It's just character that I create because that's what I do. Whenever I hear something that doesn't sound like I've already done it, even if it sounds like I've done it and I've already done it, but I'm not sure, I'll try to write it down somewhere. Maybe not in my Bible, but I'll try to write it down somewhere to make sure I have it. And it's just a habit now. I've been doing this since 95. So it's such a habit, and it happens like that. If I hear a word, it automatically flips a switch for me, and I have to write it down, look it up. And it has to sound exciting. It has to be something that sounds like it can create a character. It has to have that sound for me. It's that's what it is. If it doesn't have that sound, if it just sounds boring and enthusiastically, then I can do without. But yeah, so okay, nobody's coming in this week, but that's okay. We can handle it. We strong. We strong like bull. Speaking of bulls, this is the second dude. This is Mega. Sorry. This is Mega. He was called the Mega Mutant at one point. If you can see right here, right there, it says Mega Mutant. It's backwards. I flipped this over in order to get the images for my channel. If you look at my channel page, you'll see this guy both on the right side and the left side facing towards the middle. Well, I flipped it and I never flipped it back. So this is why he looks like this. Otherwise, and this is why his name is flipped backwards. So he's no longer a mutant, because ever since back then in 95, when I started the Bible, I got somewhere like halfway into the book and I said, no, I'm going to create my own. Or was it the second book? I think it was the second generation book, because I have 3 generations, 3 separate books, 3 composition notebooks tied together that make up all of my superhero names. So the first one, only the back half of the book has names in it. The front half was supposed to be for origin stories and a little drawing of the character. So I never really filled that up. I think I had like 4 or 5 that I actually drew, and maybe 2 or 3 that I actually wrote stories for, or origins or whatever. So so I basically took the character and I forgot what I was gonna say. So in the second book, I think that's when I finally said, okay, I don't need to be creating any designations like genetic designations like mutants and what's superior, homo superior, and metahumans. I don't need to be creating that stuff. I don't need to be ripping off somebody else's stuff. I could create my own. So back in the 90s, when I got to that second book, I finally said, hold on, man, I'm not doing this no more. I'm not going to be calling my character no mutant. He's not a mutant. He's going to be a designation that I create. So I created like 12, 13 different genetic designations that I could use instead of Homo superior, mutants, and metahumans. I didn't want to use those. So no longer is he a mega mutant. From now on, he's just Mega. And so that's why he no longer looks like, well, after this, I made that, and that's because he got a darker color because I lost my markers and I couldn't find that same particular color. So he had to change. So he changed. And then again in the 2000s, I changed him again. But at this point, he was still Mega Mutant. That's why he has 2 M's in his chest. So I'm going to remove this one right here. and update his design a little. I'm gonna update his design, and but for the most part, he's gonna look something like this. But there's some things that's gonna go. There's some things that's got to go. I got to change a few things, not just one. There's gonna be a few things that's got to go. Got to go. So yeah, I think I'm gonna get rid of these braces too. Make him the way he was. Yeah. So that's that with him. And that's Mega, and that's him too. I had him a couple of versions. And then the third guy I showed them was Turnbull. This is the original version of Turnbull. Now here in 93 I created this. That's right, in 93 back then. And so this is Turnbull. His name comes from the Warriors. Come out and play. How's it go? I can't get it to do it. Like the bottles. It was going. It was bouncing. Warriors, come out and play. Warriors, come out and play. Warriors, come out and play. He was going off. Oh boy, he was losing it. It's one of my favorite movies. They don't make movies like that no more. It was a bullshit movie, but it was fun. It was a lot of action, a lot of excitement. It was a quality, low budget movie. It was. It was a really good low budget movie. I love that movie. I love that movie. Fighting from the beginning to the end. It was just great. There's some corny shit in there, but hey, what can you do? It's better than a lot of this corny shit they got out here today. It's bullshit movies like Birds of Prey and all of these stupid ass movies that they coming out with trying to get diversity. Yeah. So it seems like they only talking about diversity for one people. One kind of people, and that's women. And they can't get it right. They just like can't get right in life. Life. Somebody said, tell me life. Gave me life. Life. Yeah. Can't get right. That's them. Women can't get right. Because they're never going to win. They can't win with that stupidness. You can't win talking about gimme. And then everything about who you claim that you are is based on what men are. Empowering women means turning men into women and women into men. That's what their whole thing is about. So how can you possibly claim to be strong when the only way you can be strong is by acting like a man? You trying to destroy all men iconography and then replace it with women that look like men. Come on, how retarded that is. How retarded is that to try and replace and say you're claiming that women are so strong, but your image of strength is a mannish woman. Is a man. It's basically a man. They cut off their breasts, they cut off their ass, and they put this ugly ass troll up there as representation of empowerment for women. Really? It looks like you're saying strong men. You go, boy. That's what it looks like you're saying. You go, boy. Oh, it's so stupid. So then I showed them the updated version, and they went, "Wow, you really seem to." Well, it took a while for me to get to this point, because that's when they started breaking. By the time I got here, they had already started telling me all of the information I needed to know, and that you got all of us guys here on the panel. If you need us, here we are. So you get on Twitter and ask for help from Comicsgate. People are going to be ready to help you, all of this stuff like that. And so yeah, I was like, so I'm full speed ahead, all guns are blazing, and I'm trying to just draw every day, whether it be on the computer or on I got to show y'all what I did, because I had some of those. I have like 300 or 400 of those advertisements from inside the buses. Yeah, I used to bring them home. I used to bring home like 100 here, 100 there, and maybe not at 100 at a time, maybe 50, 60 at a time, something like that. Depends on how many I can find with clean backs, because sometimes the ink from the front sign would rub off on the back, or the ink from the front of the sign would rub off onto the back of the sign, and I cared more about the back of the sign. Fuck that shit on the front. So I cared more about the clean,